Yeah. And then so for some of the listeners, who are like, well, what is a spiritual awakening and how do I know that I'm actually going through the process? Can you describe what that is and how it might actually manifest in someone's life?
Yeah, and I think there's different degrees of it. I would say that now there's more general consciousness of things like soul. That's a word that's used in marketing a lot. So, and people meditate and they might try and connect to higher self. These are words, and people are bringing in consciousness, like awareness of it. So it's normalized. So it's now you can go to like yoga and do a sound bath without it feeling like you could do all of that and not necessarily be spiritually awakened, shall we say. But from my perspective, when there is a spiritual awakening, it's when the soul has activated its DNA to start the chakra opening. It is about moving towards the heart opening, which is essentially that is the awakening, because that is when you're going to start to be able to see beyond the veil. It is kind of your dreams become much more active. You may be aware of more high dimensional information. You may start to be able to see past lives. And that is where we're really bringing in that other part that's been completely cut off from ourselves, which is soul and energetics. We've been told with this mind, body, and physicality, but missing the fact that actually that is just the dense form that the soul is animating through. All of it is you, but it's just that's the lens that we've been locked in. So I feel that there's a lot of people that consume. So we can have somebody that talks and talks and talks because they're consuming lots online. There's so much information. You could be an expert from reading stuff online, but it doesn't mean that you've actually gone, what does that mean for me? Oh my God, that changes my complete reality about something. And oh gosh, now who am I and who's everyone else? It becomes an identity shift, not a contrived glow up. Quite frankly, generally, it's some form of, depends what kind of baptism of fire you go through. It strips you of something that is numbing you from being able to feel both pain and pleasure. And we live in a polarity, experience at this time whereby, the depths of the pain is also gives you the contrast of both the light and the bliss that you can have. So it's connecting into often the feeling that we couldn't do before, and also our light. And interestingly, this year, I feel that there's going to be a big wave of people questioning their connection to God, but what is God? And actually, have I grown up in an environment where it's been fear-based, it's male, because that's how it's been taught. And actually, I've given a lot of my power away to an organization or priest that's meant to connect for me. And that came in through Babylon, and that was deliberate because that was to disconnect the masses from connecting to their own source light. So many might be proficient in lots of repeating of other things because it's such a powerful teaching and community, etc. But I feel that many people are going to be figuring out, well, does all of that serve me now and who I am and how I want to see society be? And I think that redefinition comes through a new, fresh connection to ourself, soul, and God ourselves. Meaning that that's a journey, and that's a journey of the light, and then that means looking at shadows. So when we're beginning to look at spiritual awakening, there will be some that chase the light. So I'm just all love and light, and I want to connect up with the angels, and that's great. But the thing is, it's often not embodied, meaning they haven't worked through the programming, the woundings, the unmet needs and stuff that live within the body, the field, the cells, and these imprints and these animations are within the energy field. So it becomes like, which part of the journey are you on? And for myself, it was like express clearing when the soul piece happened, because I went through, you know, therapy, so that's cognitive, clinical hypnotherapy, gestalt therapy. So I was doing embodiment stuff to, understand my patterns. I was going into the subconscious. But if you're just doing even past life stuff through hypnosis, you actually need to do the deeper soul work and the energetic, I call it the architecture work, to release yourself from whatever you've been up to in these past lives, because that energy is a bleed into now. And that's where really the quantum physics, because lots of people are getting into manifestation, that's understanding, tap into the quantum field, the void, being able to manifest in certain ways, and it will take you to a point, but you can't escape your own karma. And that's really when the soul intervention comes in, is that it's a difference between just I consciousness, me, and we consciousness moving into like the soul consciousness. And that's where we get pushed towards purpose. We get pushed towards knowing we're here for something bigger. And if we've been through, all of these experiences, that it's not in vain. There is something, a higher purpose that I'm here for, and I'm allowing myself to be that vessel for it. And there's so many access points here because this is all part of the same cosmos of experience. And many people are going to be going through these. And what I would say is if you are in a loop and the same thing is repeating, even if you're going to healers or you're doing the same thing, it means that you need the added toolkit. Something needs to expand. And if, because our tools will work to one point, that's kind of why I was given these, like, go off and train, do these things. It gave me this reference point in the encyclopedia, but it didn't actually clear the route. And then I was initiated into clear the route. And that is why I've been able to access and open up so much, but also ground it, because I was going to that depth. And I didn't have a choice. There was like literally, I didn't go looking for it. I wasn't like, oh, what might I dig into? No, I got the floods of the flashbacks, all the experiences and stuff from these different timelines started animating both in physical through my body. I would actually see a flashback and then feel the experience of whatever was going on through my dreams, coming into groups of people that I knew, and I'd be able to see exactly what we'd all been doing. The timelines became active and my multidimensional self was switching on, because it's like, you need to see truly what's going on and who's around you, because you now need to clean up this stuff. And in doing so, I was retrieving not only past life wisdom, I was recalling parts of myself